I want to talk to you as homeschool moms mostly and dads, but I want to talk to you about the fact that you're entrepreneurs. You may not know that you're an entrepreneur, but you are an entrepreneur. So you look up the definition, it's all about someone who oversees and manages, basically gets started, manages an enterprise, and usually in business, but it's an enterprise and you've got one. And so what you're doing as an entrepreneur, homeschool entrepreneur, you're building an enterprise, which is your own school, and you're a little avant-garde about it because you're starting a new strategy, a new tactic, a new game, contrary to what the culture or what has been traditionally done over decades or centuries, depending on the orientation you've got. So I do a lot of work with entrepreneurs, and I just taped 10 videos on the top 10 things entrepreneurs need to grasp or overcome or get to the next level. So I thought about this, and I thought, this would be very helpful to our homeschoolers. Think of themselves this way as entrepreneurs. So I'm going to share with you what these 10 things are that entrepreneurs tend to get to a level, and they want to get to the next level, but you can't get to the next level doing the same stuff. You may go over that again. So if you keep doing the same stuff, it's not going to get you to the next level. The next level is coming out of something different. That's mechanical. Sorry. So consider these 10 things, and what I'm going to do is share them as though you're a business entrepreneur, and then I'm going to convert it a little bit for us, for homeschoolers. Number one of the 10 things for, let's say, homeschool entrepreneurs need to get to the next level. Number one is better problem solving skills, or a better problem solving skill. This is in some ways the whole thing. This is the skill of the century. This is something AI is not going to be able to tackle easily. It's going to help, but it can't improvise, and humans can. So what I'm saying is that when you really work at getting good at taking a problem, really understanding it, and then I would argue generating a goal that if you reach it will solve it, you're going to be in a whole new game, a whole new level. So the nature of growing any business enterprise is overcoming problems. So when you overcome a problem, you're at a new place. Uh, if you're married, if you overcome the problem of financial conflict and it's never a problem again, you're in a new place. Uh, Overcome the conflict about how do we agree to parent the children, and that's no longer a conflict. You're in a new place, problem solved. And you keep doing that with everything. Well, you've got the same game with how do I organize the home? How do I make sure the kids are doing well? How do I verify the grade level they're at? How do I help them get past their own challenges in problem solving with math or coming up with something to write? So all those things, that's part of what we're doing. It's training and problem solving. That's what we're doing here. Number two of the 10 things for homeschool entrepreneurs to get to the next level is enough cash. Now, so business, obviously, this is clear, but you too. I mean, homeschool is rather affordable, but you actually want to make sure you're adequately planning and have the resources to get and do what you need to do. May not be much, but if you haven't thought about it, you can get in trouble because you can be caught always in the, oh, wish I could get this, wish I could do it. Schooling isn't going to entirely wait for that. You need to make sure you have a game plan that involves the cash requirement needed to invest in these kids, because it doesn't matter where you go and what they claim is free. Education costs something. In the public schools, your kids still got to dress and buy presents for teachers and take lunches, or maybe they're paid for or whatever, but there's still a math game, and it's a cash game. Number three, you want for an entrepreneur, they want predictable sales. Now, that doesn't exactly convert to homeschooling, but let's think about it. So when I said predictable sales, I mean the measure and the key to its growth. So the measure and the key to its growth is going to be a predictable kind of progress in your child. Okay, so you really have got to know, for you, making sales is your child or children are getting it, and then they're getting it, and whatever it is, they need socialization, they're getting it. They need to learn the math, they're getting it. They need to learn to read, they're getting it. They need to learn to write, they're getting it, because they are really where the money, revenue, value comes in, that they're learning and being equipped. It's not exact a dollar amount that way, but it's still the outcome that measures the viability and prosperity and wealth of your company, right? Your homeschool company. Number 4, grasp your numbers. So this is similar, but by this is why we measure things like, we'll measure things like their math homework. So how many do they get right? How many do they miss? What percentage of the number of problems is that per day? That might be a measurement. Number of pages read a day. That's a measurement. Regular testing can be a measurement. But if you don't measure it, you're not going to know where you are. But even maybe more importantly, there's a principle that goes like this: your metric. I'm sorry, you can't manage what you don't measure. We talk about this in Independent Homeschool, the book here, right there, a good bit. And so the trick is, when you start measuring stuff like what they make on math every day, and how many pages they get read, and how many pages they write, and it's on a chart and it's measured and you can see the patterns and all, what'll happen is, in the system, subtly in your head, their head, and the environment, it'll reward, it'll encourage, it'll keep pushing, which is awesome, to be more effective at those things. You get more of what you measure. Of the 10 things for entrepreneurs to get to the next level, here's number 5. Number 5 is a clear picture of the future. And I'm surprised how often we don't sit down and do that. Maybe you and your spouse, if you're working on it together, have not really spent the time that you need to, just to get a clear picture of what you want. You know, Jody and I eventually got ourselves to a clear picture that we wanted kids who knew how to learn. They were their own teachers. They were happy adults. A picture of them getting out, and they had the skills they needed in reading, writing, and math, and social stuff, and organizing their time, and character, and some other stuff, to really go out there and show up and figure out what the professor wanted, in our context, college, or figure out what the boss wanted and make it happen. That's really quite something, right? So that's the game. Sorry, I was checking a line about recording. I didn't see it. Chat. Good. So getting a picture and spending time with that picture. What do you want it to look like that day your child graduates? What would you want to be able to say about that child and see in that child, right? So you see your homeschool is developing and growing and spitting out this decent, useful citizen that could give some real answers to this world. Get that picture in your mind. Number 6, you need a like-minded team. All right. So entrepreneurs do, with employees and all. You do, spouses, you, in-laws sometimes, kids for sure. But what we need, you don't always get it, I understand that, but in terms of the core team and the voices you're going to listen to that are involved in it, you really want to grow like-mindedness. What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? We use the Robinson curriculum with some adaptations, but we would reread Dr. Robinson's 35-page or so intro overview, I forget what he called it, every year, just to make sure, are we thinking about this right? And do we agree? And get that story clear in our mind, so we could be like-minded with each other. It's not all thinking the same thing, but it's like we have different roles, but we're using the same sheet music. So different instruments, but they're all playing, and it makes a symphony. And the symphony is called your entrepreneurial homeschool. Number 7, you need to become more thinker, less doer. Trust me on this. You want to model and all, but more thinker, less doer. Less, I'm going to argue less teaching, more thinking about the strategies, more thinking about the big picture, more thinking about what overall are we getting done, more thinking about where are the gaps in this one particular child and how do I supplement that. Like thinking at the level of what book could I introduce this child to that might make a huge difference. Out of the blue, we had a situation one year with one of our kids struggling with moving to a new area and making friends and all. And Jody said, "Why don't you read How to Win Friends and Influence People?" And he went and read it, and he came back later and he went, "Oh, I understand friendship." And ever since then, he's been golden. Really? A book could do that? I'm afraid so. Um, Number 8, and 10 things entrepreneurs get to the next level. We'll be about done with this. So, number 8 is really, really important and really underappreciated and underplayed, but it's emotional mastery. It's learning to master your emotions, and I'm going to argue not master your children's emotions, but know how to work with them. This is why, in my painful experience in life with my own struggles with growing up in alcoholic homes and probably ADHD or at least ADOS, attention deficit, squirrel, emotional regulation, dysregulation, frustration, agitation, impatience, blah, blah, blah. I spent a life trying to figure out how do I get a grip on all this. And so I put it in that course called the emotions course. And there are 11 other courses that go in that package of all these lessons that are important for the kids to learn, you to learn. Well, emotional mastery, if you can't learn to master your frustration, your upsets, and even when it gets down to it, your moods, maybe even good feelings too, all these things. So when you learn to master these things, you can create a calm or right disposition in the home. And if you don't master it, it's kind of chaotic and everybody's on edge. So, and I'd say this in a business too, which is where this comes from. If an entrepreneur doesn't know how to master his or her own emotions, how in the world will they get to the next level? Because the next level is going to take a certain level of confidence or settledness or control, right? Number 9, more free time to recuperate. So in the entrepreneurial world, one of the things they found is that entrepreneurs, kind of like actors, an actor will have performance day where they're being filmed. They'll have practice days where they're doing a lot of stuff, and in prep, learning the lines, and then they have recuperation days where they're not doing anything with acting. Well, that model has been used by a guy named Dan Sullivan, strategic coach, to train entrepreneurs to do the same thing. And what they found is if they'll take a 24-hour break, the more they do that, to take days, they have focus days, which 80% of the day is what they do best. Cleanup days, that's when they're cleaning up all the messes. But these free days, they'd take off and just have a blank day. No thought about work, or no thought about no answering emails, no anything. Just a break. Go do something fun. Go do whatever you want to, but a break from it. And that break allows for freshness and innovation and good things to come in. And I would say that's true for you in your homeschool. I think planning some legitimate breaks in there, I think it'd shock you what might happen if you were to just have a free, not vacation day because it's, July 4th, which may happen too, but a day that's just a break, a refreshment day, a recuperation day. And it's all from school. So you're not trying to catch up or anything. That's different. This is a break from it. This is go do something different. This is go do something else. And at least, every week you might want to think Sunday would be an appropriate day for that. It's just not a school day in any sense of the word. People want to read, they can read, but they read their own stuff. You get the idea. Number 10 of the 10 things for entrepreneurs or homeschool entrepreneurs to get to the next level is coach or coaches. So I can't emphasize this enough. So this is a role we're playing here, where you've got a coach. I have people mentored me, coached me in my life, and you can go to classes and learn things, and they have a syllabus and curriculum, and they'll give lectures and labs and get you there. That is one way of learning. The other thing prominent in the world is the athletic model, where Olympians and whatever, golfers, whoever, all these people have coaches. Because when you have a coach, they can look at things different than you do. That's huge. Like we like to say, it's hard to read the label from inside the bottle. But also, the coach has a knack for understanding how to explain things and give you fresh eyes and fresh insight to up your game. And that's a lot of what we do here and do with our material. So, whew, and I thought you might find that stuff helpful in understanding really what you're up to. So, may have given you too much to think about. I hope not. But, this coaching part is what we're trying to do. We don't have all the answers, but we do help think about things. We're growing your problem solving skill. You show up, you get others show up. We advance this someday to a little more live interaction. I mean, we have it now with chat, but we're going to shift to Zoom before long and do that.